Hello YouTube, it's Alex Tsushiyama, back with not just one but two random matchup rotation battles to make up for lost time. This is a free random matchup battle against someone I don't know, but I start out with Espeon, Scizor, and Staraptor, all of which are Poké Studios movie stars, and he goes out with an Alakazam, a Scizor, and a Scrafty. His Alakazam is shiny. That really has no effect. I make a misplay here. He switches to his Scizor, I switch to my Scizor. He Swords Dances up, but because I was expecting him to stay in on the Alakazam to Shadow Ball my Espeon or switch out of the Alakazam, I go for the Pursuit, which was really stupid and it renders Scizor practically useless for the rest of the battle. So, go back to Staraptor and try to Brave Bird him from that much HP to take him out in one shot. And luckily it works, because I'm not sure how my team would have stood up to a +2 Scizor, especially when my Scizor is kind of can't hit it at all. He goes into a shiny Milotic, which I think is a much more defensive set than I'm used to. So I try to Grass Knot it with my Espeon, and he switches to Alakazam to Thunder Wave it. This ends up bouncing off my Magic Mirror Espeon, but because his Alakazam has Synchronize, it ends up paralyzing me also. So Espeon's effectively out of the battle for the rest of the round, game 2. So this time I try to U-turn on his Alakazam, but he switches back to his Milotic. The reason why I think his Milotic's more defensive is because that is not very much damage. That's maybe a quarter of its health off of a Staraptor U-turn. That's not really too encouraging. So I go into my Gengar. He gets the Scald. Now, not only does it do over 50%, but it also gets the Burn, which basically makes Gengar a one-hit wonder here, but at least Staraptor didn't get burned also. So Gengar goes for the T-Bolt, and almost knocked out the Milotic, doesn't get the Paralyze, and falls to the next Scald. Which is kind of sad. Oh well. I'll do better later. Milotic's got the requisite lefties. I go back to Staraptor, get the Intimidate off rather pointlessly because Milotic's not a physically attacking Pokemon, and then I go straight for the Brave Bird on whatever he goes into. He switches back to his Alakazam, presumably to try to get the Thunder Wave off again, but Brave Bird just says no to that. His Alakazam faints, and at this point he surrenders the match, which is why it goes back to the watch the video screen. So, yeah. Next match is a rating battle against the Sand team, and I use slightly different Pokemon this time off of my 6-person team, minus Chansey plus Bronzong that you saw in the last video. This is against someone from Japan who I don't know. So he leads off with they lead off with standard Sand team stuff. I go with basically the same thing except for Milotic instead of Staraptor. He gets the Sandstorm up, which is obvious, but I'm not sure what he was expecting here. But I'd use the Grass Knot right off the bat because it'll do a good amount of damage to whatever he goes into, and he stays in his T-Tar. That critical hit might not have mattered. It also might have. I'm not sure, but his T-Tar's down, and I'm already pretty far ahead for taking out one of the strongest Pokemon and his Weather Inducer. So he goes into this Excadrill, and Earth does the Earthquake. I go to Milotic to Surf, but it does over 50% of just over 50% of my health off of that one Earthquake. Now, he's got a Focus Sash, so he doesn't die to the Surf, and then Milotic takes damage from the Sandstorm, of course. Now I was going to try to take him out with Scizor's Bullet Punch, but he goes into his Garchomp instead, which was a pretty good move on my part still, because Scizor resists Outrage, even though Bullet Punch missed because of Sand Veil, which is a really stupid ability. So yeah, Bullet Punch it. That takes it down by at least 60-70%. But I still resist Outrage. Then he's confused, which means that he's no longer locked into Outrage, and I can't Bullet Punch him anymore without him switching to something else. So I go to Milotic to get the Surf off again, and he goes into his own Scizor to Bullet Punch whatever I was going to switch into. It does a decent amount, and it's a Life Orb Scizor, which was actually kind of surprising. But Surf takes him down to 50, including the Life Orb damage that he did. And then, I'm not sure what he was expecting here. I think he was expecting to feint Milotic off of the Bullet Punch with a critical or something, but I live with who knows how much HP left. It's a very small amount, but I get the Recover off in order to keep using Milotic, just keep doing my thing. Basic in between turn stuff. He goes back to his Garchomp to get the Outrage off again. He doesn't hurt himself in his confusion, which is kind of bad, but Outrage takes Milotic out from this HP. So Milotic goes down, which is kind of sad. She did a lot. Then I go into my dual screener Bronzong and immediately set up, well, I say immediately even though it's so slow, but go right into the Reflect in order to basically be able to wall his team even better. And that Outrage did barely anything, but it did about 25, didn't do very much to Scizor, but I managed to hit the Bullet Punch again and knock out his Garchomp, leaving it with just his Scizor and his Excadrill. Then he Bullet Punches my Bronzong. Or I switch my Bronzong and he tries to Bullet Punch again. And thanks to the Reflect and Resist and Bronzong's massive defense, it does almost nothing. So I go into the Earthquake and it doesn't quite knock him out, but it puts him in range so that Life Orb Recoil will definitely take him down. Which it does. So then I miss the Gyro Wall because there's no target, but he goes to his last Pokemon, his Excadrill, and he tries to Earthquake, but because Bronzong has Levitate, it misses, and my own Earthquake takes him out from that range. Well, that range being 1 HP, of course, it'd take him out. But defeated him, and that's it. There's the 2 battles. That doesn't quite make up for almost a year off the radar, but I've been having troubles with my recording rig. I hadn't been able to get save files off of my physical cartridges for a while, so this is the first things I did was yesterday. I did these 2 battles and decided to record them. These 2 battles were actually practiced for the 2013 Winter Friendly tournament that's being organized by the actual company. That's going to be starting in about a week. So expect to see a couple more videos in a week or 2, and there are going to be more random matchup rotation battles. So you won't be able to see nicknames of these Pokemon for a little while. And you've already seen some of their nicknames, but you don't know what the Bronzong is nicknamed. So see you around.